I'll start with saving time sitting here. The one difference from all the speakers before me is I come from the stakeholder world of sorts. Of course, I'm not a professor in anything specific, but representing CII here, coming from a stakeholder perspective, it was interesting that perspectives sort of varied in the discussion. That was very interesting because it itself shows there is some sort of conversation, there is a marketplace, people don't have a stereotypical view. I think the chairman started with the last, when he ended with a slide which said need for change in attitudes. It was, according to me, a powerful slide which spoke from what are we to where should we go. I think accreditation and ranking, is it going to be a status or a standard? Is it going to be sorting or increasing excellence or quality? It really has to depend on what the market space wants. And in a country like India, where the numbers are phenomenal, the world has never seen a reality like this, where our enrollment ratio is one of the lowest, but at the same time the aspiration is very high. Education is a social enabler. People want sometimes just jobs. Industry is reactive because that is how the economy is growing. We are thinking after we start doing. These are very, very different systems, and the reality is very different from other learnings that we've had in the world in the past. But I think some of the thought process that we have is also based on what we have learned from the world in the past. Personally, I think that those things have to change because the India framework or the India standard or the India aspiration or the strategy has to be different, because we have to fight this at very different levels. We have to take care of the young boy in Chandigarh who Professor spoke about with an aspiration of a job, but there are others who want to go fight the world. There are others who are not able to manage either of these two. I think the reality is very different. And one yardstick, one standard, one rule will not fit in India, because no other country has so many languages, no other country has different states, federal and state systems, no other country has a different aspect of an innovation sector, manufacturing sector, hand skill sector, everything happening on the sidelines. And many things have suffered in this process, and I think it's good that the conversation has started. But personally, I think accreditation should enhance holistic quality. But I think one thing which some of them touched upon is capacity building is what we have to work on. Conversation of syllabus and what happens in formal education has to also start, because I don't think India has enough classrooms of brick and mortar buildings or time taking 3 to 5 years to skill our millions. Because 500 million was the number a few years ago, and maybe it's reduced, but we really have to relook at this. One other point that I want to make is that the stakeholders have to be involved in this. Organizations like, bodies like CII or industries, local industries, have to be involved in setting standards or helping govern or bring quality, because finally these institutions and the students will have to network and integrate into the local ecosystems. So I think these are very important things, and at the CII, I think there is a selfish interest, but also there is a lot more that industry has to do. But industry is also busy. Industry is extremely busy fighting its own battles. So I think the common ground yesterday in the inaugural, this was discussed, and we realized that like never before, we are talking amongst sectors and realizing this is the same battleground. We have to do many things different, but I think the synergy is starting to build. So finally, I just want to say that ranking and accreditation should not become an exclusion, should not become a limiting factor. It should become a stimulator, it should motivate, and it should sort of enhance the holistic system rather than only working on certain parameters. And with the new programs of the government, with how India is looking, with the energy issues and environment, I think we have to think very different. This country is heading towards great potential, but with extraordinary challenges. I think there is a momentum and there is opportunities to do this. Hopefully, some of these things will lead and help us to solve these things. That's the thing I wanted to say, and I'm hoping for some more conversation. Thank you.